Tomb Raider is an adaptation of the new reboots of the Tomb Raider games, featuring a younger, more realistic Lara Croft. And it is honestly one of the best video game movies, and definitely one of the most true to the game. But it's really not saying much, because generally movie games suck. And this one is okay.
The recklessness. Close the tomb once and for all. The fate of humanity is now in your hands.
So Tomb Raider was directed by Roar Usog and mainly stars Alicia Vikander as Lara Croft. And, this is basically her becoming the Tomb Raider, her first real mission. And she has to learn how to survive and kill people and raid tombs and all that good stuff. And, just as a movie itself, not even like looking at what the game or whatever, it is a fun movie. It's like a fun popcorn movie. It's nothing amazing. It's nothing special. It's fine. And, that's fine. It's fine. It's like, for the original Tomb Raider movies, they're really corny, but they're fun. This one has, the beginning is incredibly corny and pointless, because there's this so stupid. There's this random bicycle race where she's the hare, or the fox, and they're the dogs that are chasing after her, and she loses it because she sees with someone that looks kind of like her dad. And it's I was waiting for the movie to get started. And also the opening scene is her training in mixed martial arts. She's a badass chick. And it's, I didn't really need any of that. But then you get the thing that her dad went on some sort of expedition 7 years ago and disappeared. And, the people that run her family's estate want her to sign, a thing of death in absentia, whatever, declaring that he is dead. And so everything would go to her, but she is just kind of living as a bum. But she decides to, they go and sign it, and then she learns that her dad left her clues to stuff and what he was actually doing, and you have a movie now. Alicia Vikander as Lara Croft is really good. She really looks like the reimagined version of her, and she did really great. I mean, there's not that much acting involved in this sort of character, but I mean, she did all the action really well. I mean, some of the stuff is a little bit too much green screen, but I mean, it's you can't really do this stuff for real. And I liked a lot of the stuff they did with it, but I think that for the movie, there's a lot of stuff that they took directly from the game. Some of the scenes were directly from the game, and that's kind of cool. But at the same time, they missed some of the themes of the game almost. Because so much of the newer games were about Lara Croft surviving and learning how to heal herself, and to kill wild game for herself, and to craft weapons, they craft things, and they just kind of almost really be a strong woman and, fight for herself, fight against all these men that are trying to kill her, and, get to the tomb and find the secret to everything that's going on. And this one has some of that, but I think too often she's relying on other people instead of relying on herself. And one big part of that, I think, is their choice about her dad. And this is a slight spoiler. I mean, it happens pretty early on in the movie. But, of course, she finds her dad's alive on the island. And also that there's this group of people, Trinity, trying to find this tomb, which has, the Death Maiden Himika or something like that, where they want to have that as a weapon or something, and he's trying to stop them. And this hero is looking for some supernatural, and, it's all, and that's another thing, too, with supernatural stuff. The game actually has, turns out, has some interesting supernatural stuff. It is kind of supernatural. And this one tries to stray more from that. That's more realistic, even though stuff that happens is goofy. But, whatever. But, because her dad's alive, it seems like she relies on him a lot for the survival things. Like, he heals her, he gives her a weapon, she uses his notes to find the tombs and to solve the riddles and stuff. And I wish I needed more by herself. I don't understand why they did that, but I think in the game, he's dead. I can't remember, it been once since I played him. I thought like, I can't remember if the second one, if like they show that like he kind of, Lara Croft witnessed him killing himself, but there's also there's other stuff going on, beyond that. But I don't know. I didn't love that choice. Also, one of the biggest faults like between the game and this movie is that they took like the kind of bad guys from the second game, Trinity, and I would say that the movie is almost kind of like a mixture of things from the two newer games. But Trinity is kind of the bad guys in the second one, and they're like they have this religious fervor where they're like true believers, and they try to control or destroy anything else that shows evidence of the supernatural. And that like there's this cool stuff about them is like when you read all the diaries and stuff, like, or the voice tapes or whatever, that they like are crazy almost, like they're true believers. And in this one, they just kind of felt like they were mercenaries. And I don't know, this the guy that plays the head of the mercenary Trinity on this island, Walton Goggins, like I like the actor and he does good in this role, but I think that they don't give him that much for why he wants to find this tomb and unearth it and possibly kill a bunch of people and kill a bunch of people in here and torture Laura and all this stuff. Other than the only thing you know about him, he wants to go home to his family. He wants to see his 2 little girls. And it's like, okay, that's all the background info you can give on him. That's all the motivation you can give to him. Like, it's just, I don't know. There's too much like they're just random mercenaries. And especially the very end of the movie, it doesn't really matter. But like after the movie's over, there's like almost like before a credit scene, but it's like I don't know if they want you to be like a cliffhanger sort of thing, but they have the thing like, oh, that person is a traitor. Shit, that person's evil. Uh-oh. And it's like, that is also from the game, the second game. But I mean, this woman, I don't know. Like, you met the person early on in the movie, and you met the person at the end, and then right away that that person's bad. And I just don't get the point of it. Like, especially that would be something you could do for the sequel. Like, you could have that be part of it, and have that be some of the twist in the middle of the next movie, instead of having a random scene at the end of the film. Like, I didn't really get that. For the movie itself, I mean, if you take away from the game and what like emotion may be from the game, it's fine. It's pretty much generic fare, generic adventuring movie. And I mean, there are some really cool action scenes. There are some decent like trap scenes and getting in the tomb. But I wish there was more of that, like a more puzzle solving or something, and even like more adventures, like more stuff going on. Like I wish you could have cut out the whole beginning of the movie. There was like the bicycle race and the random race in the China dock, and like I wish you could have cut that and had some other stuff later on. Like one of the fun things about the games, and even most adventuring movies, is that there's a progression where they go the one tomb and they find something, but they know that they have to go somewhere else now, and they have to solve where the next part of the story will be. And they didn't really have that. They were just like, okay, there's a tomb, okay, let's go in it. And that's really it. I would have liked some more progression to the story. But still, I have fun with it. It's an enjoyable movie. I mean, it's a fun movie to watch on the big screen. Like, it's not an amazing film, and I wouldn't highly recommend it. But if you like action films, if you like Tomb Raider, Lara Croft, you'll probably like this. And, I liked it. It wasn't amazing, but I liked it. Like, I'd probably give it like a 7 out of 10. It was a decent movie, and definitely not the savior video game movies have been looking for, but it's definitely not a mark on the horrible side. It's just a mark on the okay side. And, it's better than the horrible. But thanks for watching. Check out the video playlist on my head or subscribe to me over here. Thanks.